I spent 12 months learning to code the wrong way. For an entire year, I coded every single night. Before I ever got my first software engineering paycheck, I bought 34 Udemy courses. I tried to learn 5 different programming languages. And after all that time, I had 0 real finished projects. Then one day, I finally tried to build something on my own. No tutorial, no instructor, just me and a blank file. And I froze. I stared at the screen with no idea where to start. That moment almost made me quit. Now this was a few years ago. I eventually figured it out, built a real career, and shipped real software. But I wasted so much time getting there. And if I had to start over today, in 2026, I would do almost everything differently. Because the job market isn't just harder anymore. It's hostile. So if you're learning to code right now, here's exactly what I would do differently. And how I'd avoid every mistake I made. Let me take you back to the beginning. I was motivated. I was excited. I was ready to change my life. So what did I do? I spent 60 days researching which programming language I should learn. No coding, just research. I watched dozens of videos titled things like Python versus JavaScript, JavaScript versus Java. I convinced myself that choosing the wrong language would ruin my entire career. Looking back, that wasn't preparation. That was procrastination. Here's the truth no one tells beginners. Your first programming language barely matters. What actually matters is, can you build something that works? Can you solve real problems? Can you think in systems? Those skills transfer to any language. Now, don't pick purely on vibes either. If I were starting today, JavaScript or TypeScript for reach, Python for AI, automation, or data, Java for enterprise stability. But let me be clear, the best language is the one you stick with long enough to build something real. 5 years from now, you won't care which one you picked. You'll just be glad you started. After finally picking a language, I thought I was making progress. I wasn't. I became what I now call a course collector. Every sale, I bought another course, another 20 hours, another 30 hours. Each completed module gave me a dopamine hit. I felt productive. I wasn't. Because when I finally tried to build something alone, a simple to-do app, I failed. No tutorial, no guidance. I didn't even know how to start the project. That's tutorial hell. It feels like learning, but you're just following instructions. It's the difference between using GPS and actually knowing how to navigate. If I were starting over in 2026, I'd do this instead. One foundational course per skill. Then I'd start building immediately, before I feel ready. Not something impressive, something useful. A script that cleans my downloads folder. A small automation I'd actually use. The project doesn't need to be flashy. It needs to be real. That gap between what you know and what the project needs is where real learning happens. Here's the biggest advantage you have today that didn't exist before. AI. Back then, if you got stuck, you had 2 options. Google and hope, or bang your head against the wall. Now, there's a third option, and it changes everything. Most developers already use AI in their workflow. If you're learning to code without it, you're learning with one hand tied behind your back. But here's the catch. AI is not a replacement for learning. Vibe coding won't get you hired. Use AI as a teacher, not a crutch. Don't say, build this for me. Say, here's my plan. What would you improve and why? Ask why something works. Ask why a line changed. Ask what problem it solves. That's how AI multiplies your learning instead of replacing it. Another mistake I made was waiting until my projects were good enough to share. I never pushed them to GitHub. I never showed progress. I was waiting for perfection. That day never came. Perfect is the enemy of shipping. If I started today, everything would be public from day one, even the bad projects, especially the bad ones. Your GitHub is your resume in 2026, not certificates. Progress beats perfection. There's one more lie you need to hear the truth about. Learn to code and get a job in 6 months. That's marketing. Learning to code is hard. Month 4 feels confusing. Month 6 feels discouraging. Month 10 makes you question everything. Nothing is wrong with you. Every developer you admire went through this. The ones who succeed aren't the fastest learners. They're the ones who don't quit. Breaking in is hard. The junior market is brutal. Hundreds of applicants, few openings. One thing that helps more than people realize: finding ways to code where you already are. Build internal tools. Automate something. Show value. It's often easier to move into a developer role than to break in from the outside. Here's the truth. The best time to start learning to code was yesterday. The second best time? Right now. Don't overthink. Don't wait. Build. Ship. Learn. Repeat. Good luck.